This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Welcome to Nerd School.
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Yeah.
Suck it, nerds!
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Suck it, nerds!
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Suck it, nerds!
Visit me, daddy ass.
Welcome to Nerd School.
My name is Low-Key. Welcome to the Nerd School podcast. You Jack.
Joe, you were talking about the first time you saw Zoe Saldana. The first few times I saw her were in like young adult teen movies. So I remember her from way back when. Like there's a show about like dancers behind the scenes and all the snark called Center Stage. She did that. Drumline.
Really? Was she young?
Yeah.
Was she like a young child star too?
No, she wasn't a kid. Probably it was 2000. How old is she now?
Can't be that old. Well, I guess
feel
she
like we're not far off in age. I'm looking it up.
Zoe Saldana.
No, she was born in 78, so no, she had to be early 20s.
She was born in 78?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So she's 40. I don't know.
Five.
She's 2 years younger than you, asshole.
Well, I know that's where I got wrong. So I was like, oh, so she's only 40 because I thought I was 43. And then I realized
No.
I'm not 43. I'm 46.
You forget your own age.
I forgot my own age. Because, you know, after what, 25, it really doesn't matter.
Well,
I count them all.
Well, we're talking about Zoe Saldana because this is where we left off in Infinity War, where she has this real big scene where she's really upset and conflicted. She stabs Thanos because we're in nowhere. We left off about to go to nowhere.
Can I say something real quick?
Art's got to say something. He's
Go.
pissed. I want Zoe Saldana.
I want to like have this be kind of sort of like a weird segue sometimes, and that we do sometimes, like called like Now You Know, right? So like the Now You Know moment right now, which is totally, it's on topic but also off topic. As we record this, it is July 4th, right?
Yeah.
And on July 4th, and this is for you, Joe. This is for you, Joe. In this world, we have Nicholas Joseph Fury and Steve Rogers, both born on this day, 30 years apart. Steve Rogers on July 4th, 1920, and Nicholas Joseph Fury on July 4th, 1950.
Why are you giving his whole government name?
Because I wanted to.
So wait. Are you talking about
Here we
like the
go.
actual MCU characters?
The
or
actual
like
MCU characters.
Not real characters, because if Chris was born in the 20s, man, that'd be interesting.
So no, I'm just saying, like, why are you talking about comic books? Or I guess you wouldn't be, because Nick Fury, well,
comic books aren't dated, right?
Well,
Like,
one. This is spoilerish. This is spoilerish because I don't think any of you guys are watching Secret Invasion.
Not yet.
At his license. They were looking at Nicholas Fury's license, and as you see, the date he was born, July 4th.
See, now I love that shit. You found it on his driver's license.
Yeah, it's on his driver's license. But like even now, if you were to Google him and look up his birth date, they'd have it listed as July 4th, 1950.
Both born on the 4th of July,
so
just like Tom Cruise.
Nick Fury is 73 years old in the movies.
Right.
How old is Sam Jackson?
Probably older
I was
than
gonna
that.
say that. Like
Probably
Tiffany,
older than that
How old is he?
because Secret Invasion takes place in 2025, I believe it is.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, Sam Jackson is 74.
How is he 74?
Because black don't crack.
74 is the new.
Although,
Right, I'm really 955.
Who is?
I said I'm really 955.
You are?
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's the Sith
I've lived for
longevity.
one
He's a
eternity.
Sith. Yeah, he'll never.
Art gives you a slight secret of his real life, his age. There you
Maybe
go.
he's a Sith and a whatever species Yoda is.
No, he can't be both.
You can't be a Sith and be a Yoda species.
Anybody can fall to the dark side.
Oh,
They could, but I
You
refuse to believe
underestimate the power of the dark side.
that. No, I don't. I just know what good can come of the universe, and it's
All right,
not so.
so that's now back to
yeah,
Zoe.
that was a now you know that was a pretty
Back to
interesting-
Zoe Saldana.
So I
From
love
that tangent.
I
Okay,
actually
so you,
love shit like that. So
all right, so that's a way I can frame all my nerdy shit where I go, now you know,
Right, exactly.
this was created by Jack Kirby in 1968 or whatever.
well, and Artstar found that is that an Easter egg or an Easter chicken? He found
I've-
not Easter. It's not
I've
an
kind of
Easter egg.
forgotten the difference between an Easter egg and an Easter chicken.
I think Easter chicken is something they inadvertently.
Oh, like Easter chicken is a thing that they make that becomes an Easter egg later because they
Right.
follow up on it.
Yeah,
Right.
like they might not have meant to have it as a thing, but it was in there,
Okay.
so then they made a continuity. And that was
Okay.
Arts now trademarked by Artstar. We really need to get that trademark because he made
Lawyers get on it.
the genius that is Artstar. Well, before we jump in real quick, that reminds me of something I just saw on a TikTok last night as I was scrolling through. Goddamn TikTok, he's stuck in there. But there was
For hours.
and just looking at nothing, like 5-second video. What's wrong with me? Anyway, they said they showed this thing that was in one of the Iron Man's or event. It might have been who knows what movie it was in, but it showed Tony Stark, and he's got all these discs that he's using, like when he's got the one that he puts in Vision or whoever, and one of the discs laying on his table says Tadashi. So it's like he's got the disc to Big Hero 6.
Oh, I love Big
Tadashi
Hero
or
6.
Yeah, whatever it is. So like, oh my god, he's got that. Those are the same universe. So there you go.
I literally could watch Big Hero 6 a million times.
That was very good. It makes me.
I've watched it like hundreds of times.
Welcome
I'll
to
watch
Nerd
it.
School.
I'm going to say something completely stupid,
Oh,
but TBJ said lawyers get it on a minute ago, or get on it. Lawyers get on it a minute ago, and my brain went to like that would be the title if there's a movie in the 80s called Legal Eagles with Robert Redford, and then Jackson Browne did a song for that, I think, called Lawyers in Love, which is the dumbest kind of song you could have. If they remade that movie now, they would remix Lawyers in Love, except it would be like a Nicki Minaj remix of that. They'd sample that, and it would be called Lawyers Get On It.
Boom. Genius.
All right.
uh,
I just needed to get that out of my head, so it
You
wasn't.
just
in there.
you need to lay that out.
Yeah.
okay, so we left off.
Now you
with
know.
Thanos.
We're on our way to nowhere.
Yeah, Thanos is looking for the
Now
Or-
you know where.
whatever stone that Collector has, which I forgot. The Collector has.
The Reality Stone, which was the ether in Thor: The Dark World. That at the end of that, they had Sif and the Warriors 3 go
Give
give
the
it to
Collector
the
to keep
Collector to
safe.
keep it safe.
And
And-
he's claiming he doesn't have
And
it.
then everyone said, like, I believe Rocket told Thor, only an idiot would give something to that guy, and he was like, or a genius.
And the Collector, as we've learned, is the brother of the guy in the Thor,
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum's character.
Comic wise, yes, and they've got a similar look, so I don't think they've established it in the MCU that they're related
Think
at all.
so.
And the Jeff Goldblum character calls Asgard an
Man.
ass place. Ass place? So, I
Asperg.
want to bring that up as many times as possible.
Ass place.
Asgard is an ass place, not an ass people. Or no, it's an ass people, not an ass place. Yeah. So anyway, so this is where I guess Drax is this where he like uses all the crazy powers like make Drax and
Yeah,
Mantis fall into
it's the thing. Like he fools everybody into thinking they have a chance that he hasn't gotten the gem yet,
Yeah.
and then he lets them think they killed him, and then
That's
goes,
right,
"Oh yeah,
yeah.
by the way, realities. I was fucking with you."
because Gamora stabs him, and then you see the emotion she has if she really did kill him.
Her
And so-
conflicted emotions over her warped father figure.
Yeah, so you see she really does have some emotion there. And so maybe that's the reason he did it, to see how she would react, to see if there is some love there, maybe. I don't know if that's why he did it.
Yeah, he
I
pretty
think
much
it
says
was
it.
a way to capture me.
Yeah, but he pretty much says that, like, "Oh, are those tears?" Or something like that when he reveals that
Yeah.
he ain't dead.
So for a moment we
Obviously, I know
think,
you're scared.
my notes say Gamora crying for real, he dead, reality stone, brah.
That what you
dead.
wrote.
Yeah, because reality stone means he's not dead, and then he does that, and I'm not really dead.
Yeah, and then there's the big
did.
showdown where she tries to make Star-Lord keep his promise to kill her if Thanos ever got a hold of her.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
he
right.
actually, much to his Thanos is like daring him to, because he didn't because he's good either way, because he's got the reality gem. It's not going to happen,
He doesn't care.
but
what
he wants to
happens.
see
Right.
if he'll do it. And then
The
he
bubbles.
he will do it, and then it's the bubbles, and he goes, "I like him because he would do it."
But because he was willing to kill her
Yeah,
on his word. Is that why he
And
likes him? Or
probably, yeah, because that's Thanos' style. Because in a
Yeah.
minute, Thanos is going to kill her to get what he needs.
right?
And so that's something he respects, which is probably something that would hurt Star-Lord even more. Like, oh, Thanos likes me because,
Well, this scene also had the moment, another moment where I realized, yeah, Star-Lord is my guy, because he calls him Grimace, and he says he's gonna shoot that nutsack off his chin. I'll shoot that. I'll shoot that nutsack.
Joe's
off
like,
your chin.
this is the best part of the movie.
Yeah, and now
Anytime
it makes
you
me
can
want to have a
drop
grimace.
nutsack in.
A grimace shake. Happy birthday
yeah.
to Grimace.
Happy birthday to Grimace. Wow.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know, Grimace was the landlord at our dad's apartment when we were in.
what?
We were young.
Interesting.
Remember Dad's landlord, Grimace?
I don't remember calling him Grimace,
We called him
but
Fred, but he had his whole face was purple. He had a big purple
oh
thing
God,
on his head. He's a big giant guy, and
I
he had a birthmark all over
have
his head.
not
purple.
thought about that guy in 100 years.
Yeah, everybody called him Grimace. That probably, in hindsight, that probably
I-
wasn't very nice. So we call him that.
No, not at all.
Well, not nice, but I just suddenly remember that. Anyway, but he did not have a nutsack chin. And then, yeah, you promised to shoot me the bubbles. I like him. Shoot out with Gamora. Oh, then he takes off with Gamora, right? So he takes her away, like,
Yeah,
zaps.
uses the space stone to just teleport away.
Space Stone does that.
Yeah, that's the Tesseract that brought the
That one's
invasion
blue.
to Earth.
My whole thing is, I just need to know which
Colors.
the colors are, like, so the stone they came to get was the one Thor left with him.
That's the red one. That's the
Reality?
reality stone.
Reality Stone.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Reality Stone is the one that changes that. And like you said,
Yeah,
they
the
didn't
Power
think we
Stone.
had
It was
that
the
yet.
purple one with Ronan, the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That was purple.
Yeah.
I guess the Space Stone is blue because it was in the Tesseract.
Time Stone's
Mind
green.
Stone is yellow because it's in
yellow. Vision's head.
Vision's
Okay.
head. Time Stone is green, and the Soul Stone is, as we will learn shortly, orange.
But we haven't seen the Soul Stone yet. All we know is
Not
Gamora
yet.
knows something about it
Yeah,
at this point.
Yes. That's why she
More knows where
wanted
it is.
him to murder her so that he couldn't. She wanted her
Ever
boo
get the
thing
Soul
to
Stone.
murder her so she couldn't reveal to her.
Murder.
Yeah, you got to murder me because I know something, but even
Yes.
he doesn't know what she knows. Only she
Yes.
knows, apparently. Okay, then we go to the
Because
Avengers.
she found it. He sent her to find it years ago, and she reported she didn't find it, but she
Right,
did.
she said she didn't, but she did. But he
Yes.
knows she's lying.
yeah.
We find that out. Okay.
As parents often do.
Yeah, we do know when our kid. Oh man, boy, do we know.
Well, it helps to have recordings of it from your sibling.
Yeah, that's true. Inside.
I mean,
his
that's
sister's
true.
Body, yeah. Then we're at the Avengers compound with Cap, Widow, Falcon, Vision, and Wanda, and they're catching up Rhodey and explain Ant-Man and Arrow Boy are in house arrest.
Did you call him Arrow Boy?
Arrow bitch?
You to get over your hate of Hawkeye.
Arrow wuss. They decided to try to figure out how to remove and destroy the Mind Stone. They decided they must go to Wakanda. This scene is funny just because they explain like, oh, there's an Ant-Man. Like,
Yeah,
this
there's
is
an
where
Ant-Man and a Spider-Man.
There's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man. What? Like, what's it? That's some funny stuff. But they decided they have to go to Wakanda, and then I guess we go to Wakanda
Where the geniuses are, yes.
Yeah, where that's where
that's where Shuri is with all her
yeah,
technology.
Shuri's
so.
like the biggest genius in the world. And I love how they, I mean, I don't know if we get to this right now or if it's later, but when they get to Shuri, like she's like, hey dumbass, why didn't you do this? And like Hulk is like, oh, let me think of it. Like the super
right.
genius
Well,
of the
it's funny
world.
because he is a genius.
Yeah. Him and Tony and who was it just those two?
No, they're the main two geniuses.
Yeah, they're like
and
the
then she's
smartest people in the
like,
world. And she's 10 times smarter than they are.
But we see that every time we see Shuri. Like there's another reassurance that her genius is unmatched by anyone. And she's like a teen young adult in all of these movies. So it's like
right. She's a kid.
All right, genius
And
white man.
not to
here
say
is
she's
your
not to say that she's a kid, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I always tell
But
people
she
now-
is.
Yeah, I always tell people now that some of the best artists are kids, right? Because
I like
they
this
don't
theory. Go into this theory.
They don't have that they don't have walls up or inhibitors that says you can't do this, you can't do that. They just do, right? And Shuri, she kind of just does, whereas Bruce and Tony, they're like overthinking things. Like, what if we do this? We do this. And Shuri's like, fuck it, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? Let's put pancakes with waffles and call them Plaffles or whatever. You know, it's something crazy.
I love that idea.
I want some Plaffles right now.
Yes.
I didn't expect you to go there. But I think what you said this the other day while we were at work, and I was kind of thinking, so it's like the world has broken everybody else down, and kids, their art, you were saying their art is better because they haven't been like disillusioned by the world yet. Like
They haven't been like too structured. Like say, you know, Bruce been to academia, he's got like 9 doctorates and stuff. He's structured. He knows how things are supposed to work.
They've told everybody you have to work within
Yeah.
these constraints, but kids have no sense of that yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
maybe
mean,
Shuri's allowed to flourish, or maybe Shuri's just better and smarter than they are.
I think we have a combination of all the things. She is by far a genius because her first instincts are better, but she has the freedom in the world she lives in the way she was raised and in her youth to think outside the box, to do things unconventionally, and she's not held down by standards. No one's like, she's just a kid. She's been trusted for a very long time to do amazing things, and no one's questioning her, right? She's not living inside the rules of anybody's expectations except
M'Baku was questioning her.
Always, but he doesn't count.
The women
but
are superior.
She has the freedom to just go with what makes sense to her, and everyone trusts that what makes sense to her is a genius thing because she's been giving them genius things for a long time.
Right. And I would also argue like her just like the specifics of her revelation is like, why didn't you assign them to like make them work collectively? I think that could be like a sort of a thing of she's in Wakanda where they all work together for the benefit. They have a great society, whereas Americans don't think about collective.
What a social commentary. Groupthink versus individualism.
Now you know.
This is
I might have wrote a paper on that once about how we tackled families in America versus other countries on that same wavelength, Andy.
There you go.
Intellectual podcast.
You've got some smarty pants if you want to talk about the systems.
Right. Now, Joe, make some fart noise.
Yeah, make some fart noises quick.
I was like, hurry up, save us from
Talk about diarrhea. Okay,
I don't want to skip this is I think the confrontation between Captain America and Thunderbolt Ross. Like Captain America's gang is coming out of being on the run for like 2 years since Civil War, and you know Don Cheadle has flipped. He's decided
Was Thunderbolt Ross even in this movie?
Yeah, he was in the hologram. Like Rhodey, he was.
Yeah, you don't remember when they come in? When they walk in, Cheeto's talking.
To the hologram of Thunderbolt Ross, who's telling him he still wants Captain America arrested even after all this.
Oh, is that during this part? Maybe it is during.
Yes, it's right when they get to the compound. It's before they catch up.
And we find out Rhodey is regretting signing the accords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
can we?
Says, that's a court martial.
I don't know if I said this in part one. I just want to reiterate it for all my friends. Can we just talk about the way Cap walks into the compound with his beard and his dark suit? I just want to lean on that for a little bit.
What about it? What about it, TBJ?
Yes,
lean on that. It does something. It does something for you.
What does it do?
What happened?
Yeah, I'm not.
What happened?
It wakes up parts of you that go, yep.
What parts?
Yep.
What
I'm
parts?
not getting vulgar. The girls who know.
No one's asking you for vulgarity.
You know.
We just want to know what
You
parts.
did ask what parts. I'm just saying, if you know, you know. And those who
act like I don't know.
I'm not telling you if you don't know. Then you're not in the know. You can't know. But the girlies know. Some of the guys know.
Some of the fellas.
Some of our non-binary friends know.
Tinglings in their
There's something about that dark suit. Something about that beard. I mean, there's something about Chris anyway, but you add that beard, that dark suit, and that outlaw thing in.
Tingling in our pink
coming
parts.
in, so taking up space.
If that he's showing a little bad boy, huh? Is that it?
No, that's not it. He's living life.
He's ruggedly handsome.
I will know.
2 years on the run did something for him. I just want to note that
make
as
him
he's
less of a
walking
goody
into that
two-shoes.
scene.
Well, here's the thing. That whole, the dark suit and his time on the run is kind of a reference to his time where he abandoned the Captain America costume and title because he was disillusioned. Yeah, the Nomad era, where he's sort of like he quit being Captain America in around 74, around Watergate. I think he was very disillusioned.
Really?
Well, the comics did a thing. Yeah.
Who isn't disillusioned with America?
Yeah, right. But this is Captain America getting delusioned, which is a whole thing.
Yeah, because he's such a USA guy.
They did a whole thing where a whole storyline where there was this thing called the Secret Empire, and they heavily hinted in the comics that the leader of the Secret Empire was Richard Nixon. They didn't outright say it, but like the Secret Empire was a supervillain organization. So he like sort of quit being Captain America and became Nomad. He put on this dark suit. It was kind of a silly looking suit, but it was all black and he had a cape. And
because capes are cool.
Not need a cape.
Yeah. But then so he was that for a while. And then other people have picked up the mantle of Nomad just to be like sort of Captain America sidekicks. But this was basically the MCU's Nomad era where he wasn't allowed to be Captain America anymore. So he had the dark suit and he was out on the run doing his own thing. And now you know.
Okay, so TBJ's
and now you know. Andy, I love how you smoothly work that in.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know, now
you know. Good idea, Art.
All right, so back to the movie. We get to Wakanda. And the White Wolf has rested long enough, I think, what Black Panther says.
Yeah.
They're referencing Bucky.
He gets M'Baku and the Border Tribe and all the tribes together. And they say, where's the fight? It's on its way. And so that's right, kind of like the prelude to the big, giant, huge, crazy fight. And then I wrote, and then we got back to Doctor Strange, Ebony Maw's torturing Doctor Strange to get the time stone to find out, try to get away from him, while Spidey and Tony are arguing. Which is just the funny dynamic. Everybody likes that, I think. And then Maw says to Iron Man, this is where I have a problem, because Maw says to Iron Man, your powers are nothing compared to mine. But then Spider-Man does the alien movie trick. And this is where he, he's got these unbelievable powers, better than everybody's, but he just gets sucked out a hole because
that happens in a millisecond. And if you have mental powers, you need time to think about what you're doing. and you don't get time to
Weirdo.
think if he gets sucked out into space. And
I mean, he just.
Joe, you're such
everything.
a negative Nancy. This is like the second time this movie, you're like, I don't buy it. You're the worst. Don't be that kind of nerd.
I'm a negative
your
Nancy
girl.
Kerrigan. He
Yeah,
just got
don't be
hit
that kind of
in the
nerd. You're like, I
shins.
just don't buy it. I don't buy it. That's you.
Well, then they should stop. Marvel should stop hitting me in the shins with an Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw needs to be destroyed differently. So
I love how you're telling writers and directors how to do it.
I think I know a little bit more about Ebony Maw than anybody else because I play a lot of Marvel Snap.
Do you think you know more than the writers?
Just sucks that you can't play Ebony Maw after round 3. That's what bothers me. Okay, that's what the real problem.
unless
here
you're
is.
playing with Sauron.
Is that the root of your
Or
issue?
you could
with
use
the game?
Zero. and
What
play
if
him
Zero
after
doesn't come
3.
out, or if I use Zero on
See, that's your
the girl
problem.
who flips
Your
the other
problem is
side already?
this is what you have to break away from. Just because you have a 1 and a 2 in your hand, and it's round 3 or round 2, doesn't mean you have to play that 1 or that 2.
But what if
Sometimes
Sauron doesn't come out?
All right.
I hold on to Zero. I
Let's
hold
not
on
get
to
into the
Zero
snap
sometimes
weeds.
Okay,
into the last round.
Let's
Just so I
not
can
go
say,
into
like,
the
hey,
snap weeds. Let's
If
not
you
go
go
into the
into
snap
weeds,
weeds.
I want
don't
to play
know
a
where you
2
are.
without him to be being destroyed.
TBJ
Throw out Zero. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go.
All
I
right.
love Artstar. Anyway,
We'll start our own Snap channel.
yeah, we should start a Snap. We should do a couple episodes. Just get into the weeds on Snap. That'd be fun. Get Brant Fundak on here.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck
There
no.
you go.
Have him shirtless. Okay. Anyway, so we already talked about this where I was mad about this. So Ebony Maw, I don't know. I guess that character just like
He was built up
Fascinates
so
me, I
much
think.
that his demise, yeah, like he's basically, well, Proxima talks a little bit, but he's the mouth of the children of Thanos, the Black Order.
yeah, I mean they do a great job making him creepy, and he's like he's
Yeah.
really scary. I think that's why I'm just like, oh, he's just destroyed. And then when you see that last minute of him dead in space, it's like, oh, space is scary.
Yes.
But anyway, I thought he could telekinesis himself easier than that. But the same thing with Star Wars. I got a lot of problems with Star Wars. Like, why don't they just use the Force all the time to do everything? They
Because
should
they
never
don't-
fall. They should never.
They don't want to use the one thing about the light side, they're afraid to do things. They don't really want to use the Force. Because that's too much and try to
think
impose their
it's-
will on people.
Yeah, I don't think it's afraid. I think it's an intentional choice.
Where the Sith like, fuck that.
Okay.
But yeah, like I can see your point where, like, if it was comics, he'd find a way to get back in and be a terror again because they can't kill anybody off. They always have to have recurring villains. But in this case, you can
Well, and how long did
you can
Thor-
no prize it and say he
Yeah,
got
no
sucked
prize.
out so fast and then he couldn't breathe, so he couldn't concentrate on using his powers.
Well, and maybe he's an alien species, so maybe his inner workings work differently with breathing, like Thor, because Thor was
There you
out
go.
there for how long, and he
Yeah, there you go.
Isn't Thor a god?
God of some sort. He's an alien.
God of hammers?
is that
God of
the God?
hammers.
But yeah,
Come
it's so now that's the no prize thing, the Marvel tradition,
Okay.
where if you point out like an error, your job isn't to go, haha, you fucked up. Your job
Or
is
we
to
could call it-
to explain that error
Yeah,
away.
okay, right. I like that. I do like that.
Or
That is
what we
more
could call it when Joe
positive.
points out things like this, we could call it the Joe Prize.
Joe Prize. And I'll come
There you
up with
go.
a reason. It's because he's an alien species that is more susceptible to changes of atmosphere than anybody else. So went from inside
You're
out,
just gonna
outside so
make it up
fast.
as you go. Okay.
Anyway, Ebony Maw is just excuse me. He's just underrated, and I want there be an Ebony Maw movie all about him. And to
There
be a
still could be.
sitcom.
There still could be.
Like a whole planet somewhere of all Ebony Maws, and like there's a bar filled with Ebony Maw looking guys.
And they all have the exact same personality.
No, you
Okay.
gotta have a Norman Cliff. Okay. Anyway,
The Cheers version of villains.
Cheers. Yeah,
Thanos' children as Cheers.
I want everything to be Cheers related. I want everything to be a bar, and everyone. Anyway,
I can see you wanting everything to be a bar.
how come
Yes.
almost nobody got hammered in Cheers? Like Norman Cliff would have been hammered a lot.
They
I
were.
I feel like Norm was.
That was them.
Yeah. I
Maybe
feel
he
like they
was.
were.
He just couldn't tell. Okay,
He could,
so
he could hold it well.
now we're back to another strange Stark argument after Maw's gone. And then this part where this is one of my favorite lines. Oh, I'm Peter. Yeah, I'm Doctor Strange. Oh, we're using made up names? Oh, I'm Spider-Man then. And you can tell he's kind of being a little bit snippy with Strange because he sees him arguing with Tony, and Tony's his boy, like, what are you guys even? Is he your ward? What's the deal? And Strange asks Tony if he can fly the spaceship to get him home. And so this is where another thing. I'll try to come up with a no prize, but I'm like, why doesn't he just open a portal and they go home? Like he opens a portal everywhere else. Why do they need the spaceship to fly home?
Maybe because they're in the middle of space. And his brain, he's not getting enough oxygen. I don't know. They have the whole, who knows? Who knows?
Well, I mean, I think it's they could get home, but the Tony's argument is maybe we shouldn't. Because if he's got the time gem, that's what Thanos is after.
That's
and
true.
if they go back home,
yeah, they
that
have that
brings
argument
Thanos
later.
to Earth again.
But at this point, he's just asking him, "Can you get us home?" Why would he ask that? Why doesn't he just see you later? I'm done with you two idiots. I'm going to do my portal. Bomb. I'm gone.
Be done with him. It's a big fight. Saving the world.
Right. But then
He's
Tony
not gonna-
convinces him. Yeah, I guess, like, why would he ask if he could turn? Then again, like, he's got to figure out where they are in space, I guess.
Maybe he can
needs to know
only
more.
create a portal if he can get a boner, and maybe he can't get a boner in space.
Is that where you're gonna go with that?
Could be.
I'm gonna say that's probably not it.
Probably not. Maybe not. Never know. Okay.
But this is the thing where he convinces them to go to Titan.
Yeah,
as
because
opposed
he
to
says we got to
luring
take.
Thanos
He
back
said,
to
"I
Earth."
don't know," and Tony does say, "I don't know what to do. I don't know the right thing to do." But one thing I know is he'd be surprised if we take the fight to him. If we go to Titan, we might surprise him. And Strange says, I'll let Tony and Peter die if it means saving the stone, which turns out not to really be true, right? And then at that point, Tony makes Spider. Okay, here you go. You're an Avenger. And he has that moment like, oh yeah, I'm gonna.
In the most non-ceremonious way here. He's been asking for it. Okay. Spider-Man has wanted to be a part of the group project. He keeps getting it on the periphery. He wants to be officially in the group project. And there he got what he wanted. It's kind of cute. Unceremoniously cute, but cute.
I think that their whole relationship is kind of cute. Like,
yes, because it's like Tony essentially is his mentor, adult male figure.
Yeah.
Reluctantly, right? He doesn't know how to do this because he has his own baggage with his own daddy.
Yeah.
And all that went down. So Tony's like, I am a mentor, but I don't know how to do this. And so it comes off as snark.
Yeah.
But Peter's a teenager, and they receive, I will note that they don't want sugary sweet, come here, son, kind of thing. So it works in their dynamics. So
yeah, it's funny. It's like
a little snark.
They're both a little silly. And he gets annoyed by his pop culture references all the time, which is funny. And I think cute. I don't know if it said when he says the alien thing, it's like no more pop culture references for me or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that I've never been the biggest Iron Man fan, but I do love his reality when he is mentoring Peter. But that's probably the only time I like him.
I kind of feel like both actors that play in Spider-Man and Iron Man are both like, to a degree, maybe the knock on them is that they're the same person in everything they do. Like, I don't know if that's the Robert Downey Jr. one, but I heard that's what people are saying about Tom.
Oh, if they're saying that about Tom Holland, they haven't seen Tom Holland act since he was like a child. And this last series he's in on Apple TV, that is not the Tom Holland, think no, where he's the guy with multiple personalities. No.
Ted Lasso.
And even though it was kind of crappy, I don't think he was Spider-Man in Nathan the Nathan Drake movie. He didn't seem Spider-Man-y in that.
Yeah, I don't see it. And maybe that's just because I've seen I think the ones who say that haven't seen enough Tom Holland to think that. I've seen him enough that I don't think Spider-Man when he walks on his screen. I never have.
I will say I just read that somewhere on it.
And I also feel like
I believe people think that.
Yeah.
I also feel like he hasn't had the same I don't want to say he hasn't had the same exposure as Spider-Man as Tony had. Like if I see something where Robert Downey Jr. is talking, in my head I still hear Tony Stark. Like he's on some commercial, and I'm like, oh, Tony Stark is doing this kind of commercial.
Yeah.
Like if Tom Holland was doing it, I would be like, oh, Spidey's doing like it's like, oh, that's Tom Holland. You know, he hasn't. I don't think he has that level of exposure yet as Spider-Man.
But is that because there's already been 18 other Spider-Mans?
No,
Maybe.
I think we make a mistake if we just deduce Tom Holland to Spider-Man. That kid's been on the scene. That kid was a young Billy Elliot, for goodness sake. That kid's been on the scene for a very long time. And so I think we do him a disservice. We don't all know it because we're Americans, obviously, and he was killing it overseas. But
Tom
I think we
Holland
do him a
was?
disservice. Yes. He was a
He's
young
British?
Billy Elliot.
He's British.
He is?
Joe, did you not know this?
I did not know this.
Are you for real? Didn't know
Well, he
this?
does a great job being, well, they're right there. He does a great job being an American guy. I didn't know he was British.
How can TBJ at this point? How can you be surprised when Joe doesn't know a thing?
True. I just assume. I don't know. In the brain, I give Joe a lot more credit. Yes,
You
he
got
is
it.
not. He is. Did you know Idris Elba also isn't American?
I did know that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Because Lord.
Well, we've talked about that, and yeah, I've watched interviews with him where he's got an accent.
So Tom is not American.
But
and
I do think
we do him a disservice in America with only liking him to the big movies we know him from. But that kid, Tom, is a kid star grown up.
He played a hobbit.
Well, he also, if you remember Billy Elliot from way back when.
Nope.
You don't remember? It's a musical.
Was he Billy
Joe.
Elliot?
He is play Billy Elliot. It's a musical.
I knew
Joe,
it was
you
a
know
play or musical that came.
It was
to
a
the
movie
theater.
too, but he was in the play.
Was he Billy Elliot? Did he play the main guy?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
He's been around. Like him, he can dance, he can sing. Tom Holland can go on Broadway right now if he wanted to. That's how.
So can Artstar.
Yeah, so could Art.
But I do think Joe had a point about there's been a lot of Spider-Mans in the pop culture zeitgeist. So Tom Holland is not as defined as Spider-Man as Tony Stark is to Iron Man, because Iron Man had virtually no pop culture presence outside of nerd shit until
all
Robert
we
Downey
know
Jr. stepped
of
up.
Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. But of Spider-Man, depending on which generation you are from, you have a different Spider-Man.
Like ours is Morgan Freeman, because Electric Company.
But is it Morgan Freeman?
Well,
Are we that old?
Yeah, I don't think he was Spider-Man, but he interacted with Spider-Man on Electric Company.
Listen, Tobey Maguire was my Spider-Man, and the way I whooped in the movie when Tobey walked out, in the last Spider-Man, I literally lost my mind. I knew they were all appearing, but it was like coming home nostalgia for my old ass in the movie with my young children. Yes,
Tobey was.
I was like, that's my Spider-Man.
Well, and I think just because of this whole thing, like because Robert Downey Jr. is so Iron Man, there's been no other Iron Mans.
Now in movies, no.
Is it going to be more difficult for the zeitgeist to accept another Iron Man when we eventually have another Iron Man?
Like if Tom Cruise ends up being an Iron Man?
Yeah, fuck
I will
no.
not. I will protest.
It is too late for that man, but
Tom Cruise can retire. I think I've said
Tom
this
Cruise is
before.
a shit bitch.
at
He
some
should
point
retire.
they're gonna have to reboot the MCU. At some point,
Yeah.
they're gonna do the Ultimate Universe reboot like they did in comics. Like, I think they're about to do it again. Like they're
Does Robert Downey Jr. have a child that looks just like him?
Robert Downey.
You mean in real life?
Or will it just be AI? Because everything's gonna be AI eventually, right?
Yeah, everything's all be
we don't want
shittily
that.
computer generated.
Shittily.
But yeah, at some point there will be a new Iron Man, and it'll be interesting to see how they do it.
I just think it'll be harder for people to accept that because there's only been one so long.
Yeah, and until you give it enough time.
You'll give it time, and then you'll remember. Again, we've all lived through 3 Spider-Mans. Like it happens.
We got
you
through
get
it.
through it.
Yep.
We've had how many Supermans? Like we've had how many Batmans?
Mm-hmm.
We are all fine. Maybe we're not all fine, but in general, we're all fine.
Michael Keaton's the best Batman.
He was a good Batman.
Did you see that guy who was the Michael Keaton Batman at Heroes Con? Looked just like freaking Michael Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
I love Michael Keaton.
There's a chance that really was Michael
He's
Keaton
great.
walking around.
Could
But
be.
unfortunately, I don't think Michael Keaton was enough to get everybody to go see The Flash because apparently it's
Sucks.
Well, you have the controversy around it with its
Yeah,
lead.
its lead
character.
is a piece of shit.
Oh,
But,
really?
Yeah, Ezra.
Ezra Miller.
Oh, he's a bad person?
Yeah.
They, them.
They's
are a
bad.
person.
Wait a minute.
They have been doing so much shit. They should be in jail. Like they should be.
Whoa, like what shit?
Go
I'll
Google it
Google
real
it.
quick.
I'll Google it.
It's like not one thing. They keep doing stupid shit on repeat. And then they'll flee to Hawaii and do some stupid shit.
I've never
And they'll
heard
be on this side of the continental US.
And they play
to do
Flash.
some- They are Flash.
Yeah.
And so
Hopefully
my whole
not
joke
anymore.
about every time Art's brought up Ezra Miller, I always just try to get him
better
to talk
than
about
Ezra.
Better than
There's
Ezra.
there's a lot of things that are better than Ezra Miller.
Well, that was actually an article with someone was no reference to the whole better than Ezra thing. I
Maybe
was
we
like,
should
oh, they
just do
did
a,
a Joe.
we should do a podcast called Better Than Ezra Miller, and we'll just list all the things that are better than Ezra Miller.
And then we'd
Yes,
have to
there's
list
like
almost everything in the world.
harassment. There's some issues involving minors.
Harassment
There
is not
is-
better than Ezra. That's what he's
No.
doing. We're not
I'm
listing the
telling-
things that are better than Ezra
I'm
currently.
definitely letting Joe
But
know.
like Splinters,
There's
better than
like
Ezra.
disorderly conduct in Hawaii.
Yeah.
There's so much.
You can remove a splinter. Apparently,
Skin
DC
tags
couldn't
better than
remove-
Ezra.
Yes.
At this
Skin
point,
tags.
everything is better than them. They have become a menace, really, a true menace to society.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk about it next time. But at this point, we're in Infinity War,
Yeah.
where Thanos, we get the Thanos Gamora scene about her childhood and the kind of flashback,
Mhm.
and the whole he calls it salvation, and life's. He talks about salvation. What he's doing is salvation. Life's necessity.
He's balancing. He's like it's a
Yeah.
balance.
by
a
killing half the
balancing.
planet. It's
Yeah.
life's
Killing half the
necessity for
universe.
correction, is what he says, or half the
Yeah.
universe. Yeah.
That's his plan.
And then we find out that he knows she found the Mind Stone and lied, and he's torturing Nebula, which
That's so sad.
it's awful. Yeah, it's very hard to.
But can we take a second to acknowledge the immense job that the computer graphics artist had to do? This whole movie is Thanos. He is the lead character. He's the villain,
And he's
but it's
CGI,
also
right?
his huge arc. Josh Brolin is in a suit with a bunch of dots all over his head, and I think he's walking on like tall stilts or something.
Yeah.
But Thanos feels real this entire time. He does
Yeah.
not. He feels like an actual physical. I mean,
So are you saying you want to reach out and touch him and make sure he's actually real?
I kind of do. I kind of want to feel the texture of his nutsack purple chin.
Reach
I-
out,
it's
reach out and touch someone.
yeah.
I will say-
It's just really well done. I mean, this was a huge job, and apparently there's a knock on Marvel Studios for not treating their digital artists well enough, for not giving them enough time to do their shit.
Oh, right.
So
But
would
here
you
it worked.
would you say
They did the
this
damn thing
movie-
in this movie.
Yeah.
like special effects wise and graphically is way better than Howard the Duck?
Yes. Yes, I would.
What isn't graphically better than Howard the Duck?
Okay, not to be a wet blanket or a negative Nancy again, but I do. There's a few times the way Thanos talks bothers me. Like his mouth is like a video game. Like it doesn't quite match. It doesn't look real. And I'm just like, can't they do better? They can do all this other stuff. All these battles.
Can't
look
they do
real.
better?
Can't they do better with his mouth looking like saying the words? Like, couldn't they just superimpose his actual lips? Like, why can't they make him talk right? Like everything else they can do.
He's talking fine. He's got a big, weird purple alien mouth.
I don't
Yeah.
There's a little.
Sometimes it just looks like.
And
a
in fact,
video
you
game.
had to be hella nitpicking to catch that joke.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I was not. I did not note that in any way, shape, or form. You had to be looking for something.
It's in the scenes when he's talking to somebody else, like Gamora, who's got is a person. You know, like her mouth is normal, and then so even if they like slowed her, like made hers not as good to make his not look so bad, just a couple times
I don't even notice it looks bad. I think that tells me you're turning into that kind of nerd joke.
Well-
You're nitpicking. And here's the thing: I normally do notice when I'm watching something. I cannot watch for too long if the mouths are moving at a different pace than the dialogue because someone jacked up, I normally do get distracted, and I didn't at all, which tells me you were looking.
Well, I'm also watching.
I
I only noticed
staring
it
at
this.
Thanos' mouth.
I only noticed it the last time I watched through when I was taking notes. So I was watching like second by second typing, watching this, going back, watch. So I was really analyzing it. So maybe I don't think I noticed it before. So maybe it was that. But it was just a little bit like I just felt like the amazing things they can do, they could have easily probably done something that I don't understand to make that better. Or maybe I was just hammered.
Think of all the shit they had to do. So much of this is green screen. So much of this is digitally.
Well, that's what it's amazing when you watch some of those extras of them making it, like the behind the scenes. Like, holy crap, Thanos isn't even in the movie. Like, he's just Josh Brolin with stuff on his body. Like none of the stuff's really happening. They're behind a green screen. They don't probably do they even know what they are in the movie, like what's happening. But so
they gotta rely
I think
on
that's
their
more argument to why couldn't they just that one little thing? It's just only a couple times I noticed it, but I'm being a nitpicker. I'm becoming an awful nerd, so I need somebody like Artstar to help me become.
Get your boo together, Art.
Positive.
They're also in space, and sound travels differently in space.
Oh, there you go. It's just not the sound. It's just like the way his mouth can't move. It feels like it's restricted. Like maybe a couple more.
It might be
lips. Anyway, then we go to Vormir, or we hear about She says Vormir. The stone is on Vormir.
Yeah.
Do we think she's lying?
No, she's not.
At this point, she's no point.
No, but it's like that proves that she cares so much about her sister that she's willing to doom half the universe to save her life.
She wants to save her sister, or at least stop her from being tortured.
Yeah.
I think at this point we know that she cares deeply for her sister. She's the one that was like, listen, what was previous movie? She's like, that shit when we were kids is dumb. We are sisters.
Yeah.
So she has proven more than once that she actively cares for her sister, even though her sister is always actively trying to murder her.
Except in Guardians 2,
yes,
it was revealed Nebula only just wanted a sister. He wanted to, she was mad that she kept winning all the time and forcing her to go through all that shit.
But that's when that conversation was like, listen, he pitted us against each other. Like that is the definition of terrible parenting. The most extreme version of parents pitting their children against each other. So they don't form close bonds and take out.
Andy and I had a very similar childhood where.
Did your parents?
Our dad kept making Andy more of a robot every time we lost. A game of
yelling in the backyard. And it was like, oh, Andy, here, I'll take your finger now. Bye.
Yeah.
I think we played Parcheesi once, and I don't remember how the hell to even play it. I keep sort of picturing Sorry, except there's cheese in the name of the game, so I think that the pieces were probably delicious. I don't know.
I was getting mixed up with that game where you put the little pieces in the thing. There's a timer that blows it, that makes it
perfection.
Perfect. Blow everything everywhere. And Operation. Those games are not my anyway. This is where we.
But I want to also note, the whole scene with Thanos and Gamora, you see how much Thanos cares about her and is trying to convince her that she's right. Contrast this a bit later when Nebula gets free and tries to kill him again, and he just has no respect for her at all.
None.
And it's killing you would have been a waste of parts kind of shit.
Yeah.
To Nebula, you mean?
Yeah, it's a bit later when Nebula is back and trying to kill him, but or maybe that's an Endgame shit. I don't remember.
We'll see if we get to it.
Yeah.
But this is when we found out that Groot was an elective on Asgard.
Yes, you can learn how to say I am Groot.
You can speak Groot.
You can speak Groot.
Elective. It was elective on Asgard. That was a great moment. And there's a lot of these hilarious moments with Thor and the Guardians. I just want a Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy movie where it's just comedy gold with those guys.
Yeah, which I think is what they thought they would be a great idea, and they set it up at the end of Endgame, but then he was written out of Guardians 3 pretty quickly. No, Thor Love and Thunder, but anyway.
And then we have the Thor rocket scene where it's time to be captain, and he's cheering Thor up and he gives him the eye. I want to watch that. To get it off of Contraxia, I had to shove it up my ass. So Thor's eyeball was up Rocket's ass. That's a great moment there. And then they arrive on Nidavellir. But when they get there, they realize the starlight went out. And Idri tells of Thanos killing everyone but him after he made the glove capable of harnessing the power of the stones. And so Peter Dinklage makes his appearance here. Idri, the elf, he's great. And then, meanwhile, Nebula escapes by killing that dumb guard and tells Mantis to meet her on Titan. So I think it is this movie where we see that. And then Tony and Peter and Strange crash on Titan. And crap, who says this? Spider-Man says, if aliens plant eggs in me, I apologize. And that's when he's like, no more pop culture references from you.
Yep, there's your line.
And then they're attacked by the Guardians of the Galaxy. And they're fighting each other for a moment, the Guardians, and
because they don't know who's good and who's
they don't
bad.
know each. They haven't met, right? They don't know each other yet. So die, blanket of death, which is a lot of funny moments. Where is Gamora? Who is Gamora? Why is Gamora?
Where is Gamora?
Why is Gamora? Who's Gamora? Oh, I can do you one better. Why is Gamora? And then they finally figure out, you know Thor? Tall guy, not that good looking, needed saving. Those are all great moments. Again, another moment why I love Star-Lord. And
that's a
another
classic,
moment where you're like, yes.
Yeah.
it's a classic comic trope. The hero
what
groups
about
fight each
how-
other because of a misunderstanding.
So that's the thing that happens.
What's the movie quote he says? And then Peter was like, it's never been good. Was it Footloose? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's never
still the
been
greatest
good.
movie of all time.
We'll get to that.
They
haven't
talk
said
about
it.
Kevin Bacon and like, from
Is he
Footloose?
still the greatest? Is that still the greatest
still
movie
good.
on earth? It never was.
Oh, I feel sad because I did think it was one of the greatest movies.
He gets
Hurt my
mad.
feelings.
I
I
do
love
like that
Footloose.
movie. I do like Footloose.
And I love the like, what master do you serve? What am I supposed to say? Jesus?
Yeah.
And that's how they know he's from Earth.
Wait, you're from Earth?
That's funny. We cut to Nidavellir, and we found out he's got to restart the forge to make Stormbreaker. And then back to Titan. Don't call us plucky. We don't know what that means. That's what he says. And then he's like, "Oh, tell him about the dance off, like Footloose." And he's like, "Oh yeah, is it still the greatest movie in history?" Oh, it never was. And then he calls him Flash Gordon. Oh, Flash Gordon here. Hey, that's a compliment. And remember, the 50% of me that's stupid is 100% you. that was a funny moment.
Your math is astounding me. But
And then Strange starts freaking out, doing his.
Yeah.
And that's when we find out the odds are 14,605,000 to 1.
So I think this is a good way to sort of mitigate nerd nitpicking. Is like you're about to do. It's like, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do this? Doctor Strange saw every possible way to do shit.
Yep.
And the way they do shit is what they had to do
No matter what.
Yes.
in order to win.
It's
The
all
only
way.
time,
They
the only way
had
to win
this
is
option.
to do it this way. So like from here on out, like, oh, they should have done it this way. Like, why didn't they do this with Thanos? Why didn't they do that?
Well, from here on out, whatever Strange does is explained by that,
Yeah.
right?
But there you
Right.
go. Good point, Andy. From
And we
here on
think
out, we will
maybe-
remember.
Yeah.
This
This
is how
Well, we're
shit
done
had
with
to
all the
go.
dumb shit. The dumb shit was already before. Why didn't he just make it?
Is that all your dumb shit that you had noted as dumb?
I think.
Not dumb to other people, only dumb to Joe and a few select nerds who need to get a life.
Well, speaking of getting a life, I'll say one more thing about the graphics and stuff, like with the mouth and even that. And even
See, you're not done.
I just want to say, even the stuff that we think is amazing, just think about it. Like 15 years from now, this will suck compared to what can be done.
Excelsior.
Back to this, like, oh my god, shitty graphics. How shitty is Infinity War?
But I do want to
It'll
mention,
be like Howard the Duck is now.
we glossed over Peter Dinklage as Eitri.
No, we talked about it,
Oh,
but you left the room
no,
to go take
you
a dump.
said
Oh,
it.
did I?
But
sorry,
I
I'm
think
taking care of
Andy,
dogs.
go ahead and give your piece.
Yeah, tell
I
us
was just
about
gonna. I just wanted to bring him up and make sure we talked about him.
Yeah,
because
we said
it was pretty
Peter
cool.
Dinklage as Adrian explains the whole.
That's what killing you means.
Yeah, we hadn't get to that part yet, but that was funny too. He's very. I love him. He's so funny.
Mhm.
I almost bought a sticker when I was at the Heroes kind of bought a bunch of fucking stickers for my dumb Prius. And there was one that said, I drink and I know things, from him in Game of Thrones, which is one of my favorite things. But I didn't want to put it on my car.
That's kind of your whole ethos, isn't it?
It is. I drink.
Like you drink all the time and you do podcasts to try to learn and know things.
I know dumb things. I know pointless things. I drink and I know things. Yes, I love it.
I mean, that works.
But I didn't want to put that in my car because then if I ever get pulled over, they're like, "You're drunk," you know.
You'd be like,
You'd be like,
"What?
not
I
at
know
this moment.
things."
Not at this moment. I don't know if they're reading all the things.
They're not reading all my stickers because I got one on the back that says, "I knew people on that Death Star." All right.
Yep.
Okay. So now we go to Vormir, where the first card you play is destroyed.
In Marvel Snap.
And then Red Skull is at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, that's a huge reveal. We haven't seen the Red Skull.
Yeah.
Since
in a while.
Captain America, the end of Captain America, the first Avenger, the first Captain America movie, where he was holding the Tesseract.
Yeah.
He was trying to get cosmic power.
Right.
And he got sucked up into it.
So and we don't know what happened to him
Yeah.
since then, right?
Right.
So now he's been banished to help others to a treasure he cannot possess. And he's like this ghost thing. So this was an interesting choice, right? This isn't something that they do in the comics. This is like a
I don't think so. I don't recall that. I think this was just a way to resolve the Red Skull storyline. With like, where's the Red Skull? This is where he is.
So this is an Easter chicken.
Kinda, yeah. This is what you'd say, I guess. But
they sucked him up. Oh, we'll use him later. We don't know what to do with him.
And
we need to wrap him up.
Yeah. And I think, if I recall correctly, Hugo Weaving did not want to reprise his role as the Red Skull, so they got a different guy to play him.
Oh, so that's not Hugo Weaving doing that? It sounds just like him.
I don't think it's a guy doing a good impression, but
you can do a good impression?
No, it's a guy doing a.
He's saying that they hired someone who can.
I might be wrong. Let me look that up.
I think we need to.
I'd say look it up.
When we bring up Easter chicken, we should call it an Artstar presents Easter chicken.
Easter chicken.
Artstar and
Speaking of which, we're gonna have to find a place to pause because somebody's got to go to work.
Yes. You got to go, Artstar.
I got a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
I'll grace you guys with my presence, for
Yeah.
Well, we can. I think we can gracefully end before the most dramatic part of this scene, so we can come back and talk about the most dramatic part next time, and then wrap up. Is my.
Let me see where we're at.
I think Red Skull is a good place to.
Yeah.
Go. Because I got a lot to say about what happened there.
Well, this is when Red Skull explains the price for the Soul Stone is to lose that which you love. A soul for a soul. And this is where we find out. So we know that.
But I want to pause here, Joe, because I got a lot to say on this. And we're not going to capture this. Like I want to pause on the Red Skull reveal because I got a lot to say about the soul.
Well, we'll say. I'll just answer the question. Ross Marquand is the voice of the Red Skull. I think he's completely digitally generated. So Hugo Weaving did not want to reprise it for some reason or other. And so.
So it's not Hugo Weaving. Okay. So so we'll talk a little bit about how we find out what Thanos' true feelings are about Gamora, I think.
But his feelings in general. Let's just go there.
We'll get all into our feels next episode on Nerd School. But this has been another Infinity War episode where we talked mostly about Infinity War. We didn't do.
We actually did this time.
The other two, we talked about other shit too.
But we spent the majority of the time on the actual movie we said we were talking about.
Right. And we still didn't finish it.
Yeah, wait, what movie is this?
Next time we'll get to it.
This is the infinite.
We'll finish next time.
We will.
Wait, where am I?
Don't hold us to any standards, guys.
We don't want to rush.
Why am I? Excuse me.
We don't want to rush
Excuse
like
me.
Paul Abdul said.
Excuse me. What's my motivation?
Rush.
Yes, Tiffany's favorite song.
That's
What's
right.
Is
my
it?
motivation?
Video starring Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
In a
Was he in that
shitty-
video?
Didn't
Yeah,
she
it was a
date
Rebel
him?
Without a Cause remake.
I remember that. I just couldn't remember the guy.
she-
Interesting.
Did she date him for a little bit?
I think she probably wanted to.
Who didn't?
Who doesn't want to date Keanu?
I mean, he's settled down now, and the world lost their mind because she's an actual grown woman who looks like a grown woman.
Oh, he married a woman.
No, he's not married. He's just
Oh.
got a girlriend, and everyone expected
Who was
her
age
to be like
appropriate.
Oh, because
yes, he got an age appropriate
girlfriend
girlfriend who's very beautiful, but the world lost their minds because one, she's not another actor, and two, she is of his age, and they were like, "What, Keanu?"
Well,
And
the
he's
word,
like,
the word on Keanu is he's supposed to be a good guy, right? He's like supposed to
"He
be
is."
one of the only like genuine people in Hollywood.
I haven't heard any bad shit about him, and I'd be
Yeah.
listening for the bad shit. I listen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't heard
I
bad
heard
shit
he
about him
wasn't in
personally.
Speed, too.
What art?
I said I heard he wasn't in Speed too.
He was not.
How dare
Yeah.
he? How dare
But
he? act
everyone
like that?
lost their mind. She's a woman. She has gray hair. She is of age, and they were like, "How dare he date a normal person?"
Well, I'm gonna go Google that along with Ezra Miller and find out what he did.
They
They
them.
Sorry, yeah.
They did. As much as I am not a fan of them, we will respect their pronouns.
And while we're talking about Ezra, it was good podcasting with you.
Uh-oh.
It was
Was
good.
good.
Let's
No.
agree to never do that again. Okay?
I'm great that you agree that because I was just gonna blanket no. I object.
Well, at least we can all say Excelsior.
Are we?
Yeah. TBJ said it last time.
Yeah, I have a recording.
You
I've recorded.
tricked me,
That was awesome.
and it will never happen again.
It only has to happen once.
Thank you for listening to the Nerd School podcast.
They say I can't rap about the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor. Still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end in racism. Proud of a pessimism, glad to see Obama, but don't expect me not to speak out when I still see problems, Mr. Officer. Now they POTUS look like me, you gon' think again when seeing brothers rolling down the street. Every Martin Luther King on his American dream. Still a Rodney being beaten, screaming fuck the police. Me, I'm running through the passage, trying to get away from master, but the dogs is on my ass, I gotta move a little faster. Can't pass for Caucasian, but I got a couple papers from the plantation saying I graduated. Congratulations, cool beans, but to most school mean trying to dodge STDs, living off government cheese. Trust the government, please. Not even if it was me sitting in the Oval Office as commander in chief, trying to give us free. But there's a nigga in my ear saying, "You got it, Superman. You ought to keep it here." Get this distinctly clear. I'm all about jetting. Raps Kunta Kinte without the half stepping. A new chapter, back with new lessons. After that, the final exam. Any questions?
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.